My name's Brandon Manley. If I don't know you, hello. I'm up here with some guys that are absolutely crushing it in the virtual space. And it's something that we've been working on a lot, really for about the past year and a half. And now I feel like in the last 6 months, we've seen a lot of the fruit of our labor. And so anyway, let me introduce you guys. This is Mike Hilla.
Yes, sir, Mike Hilla.
Just to give you guys some idea where these guys are at in production-wise. So Mike Hilla finished off June with $33,865. To his right is Josh Reeves.
What's up?
He's been in the business six months, right? About 6 months. He plugged right in, and cool guy. You know, he's
Thanks,
doing all right.
man.
He finished June with $54,283. Can y'all switch seats just for the purposes of this? Can y'all switch? Yeah, I got it in order here, so. To his right is Nick Greco, who finished. Nick's been in the business 3 years now, 4 years now. He finished in June with $55,284 in premium. Team production total in $377, 90% virtual. Yeah, give or take. And then to his right is, we call him the Australian assassin. Yeah, we're still in your name, Rachel, the green-eyed assassin. But this is Julius Van Rooyen. He finished off June with $64,761. So we got some killers up here. These guys, it's been really fun with the virtual, just the community that's been built around it. I encourage, I've been talking to some of the other leaders, and I think it's a wise idea to build a community around it if you're gonna take a stab at it, right? Because it's just cool to see the relationships that get built, and really it's just, we're all kind of just figuring things out, right? And so the past year and a half, we spent a lot of time talking on the phone, watching videos. I like some of our competitors too, because we stole a lot of stuff. Yeah, and they stole from us. Hey, no, I'm kidding. And it's been a lot of fun. So I want to ask these guys some questions and let them answer it for you. Some questions that you might be thinking. Hopefully I'm gonna hit on them, and we'll take it from there. I think really we kind of get started with talking like leads is gonna be the #1 question. So let's kind of go down in order. Talk about maybe the leads that you're working. I'll plug in a couple more at the end. If you want to just go down the line, tell them what you're working, how much you're spending, blah, blah, blah.
All right, cool. Mike Hilla here, Raleigh, North Carolina, AMG. Right now, I'm spending $5,500 a month with final expense vertical leads. So we're getting roughly 600 to 800 brand new high intent leads every month.
And I like that because I always think about scalability, and I think about Mike building right now, and Mike can't get to 600 to 800 leads. You get where I'm going with this? Building, Okay, Reeves, what you working?
Joshua Reeves, Salt Lake City. I use Infinity Box exclusively, and I like the IUL, and I have been spending about $10,000 a month for the past 3 months each, and get about 400 leads, and yeah.
You rock. What'd you submit last month?
101,000.
So I think you hear those numbers and you might be like, dang, but I'll trade off 10 grand for 100 grand worth of submitted business any day.
Absolutely.
I'll take it. Greco?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just working, if I'm working life leads, exclusively ethos leads. There's new ones on there that are $18 a lead. There's aged ones on there. They're $8 a lead. They're all good. And if you know what you're doing, they're the easiest leads to talk to. It's extreme. I don't know. I do that primarily for life, and then I also have some annuity leads, but that's like me running Facebook ads. I probably spend $2,500 a month on that.
I will work primarily Infinity Box with Josh, the IUL leads, and in the past I've had a lot of success with the ethos leads.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of success. So.
So, and just to give you guys an idea, the Ethos leads are running $8 for 31 to 90-day-old ones, and then $18 for the fresh ones. And then Infinity Box is 100 minimum, right? A month?
Yeah, 100 minimum. Yeah.
So kind of give them a breakdown. Your first month, you're paying $1,300 for a setup fee, right? Is it 13?
I think it's $12.50, same thing. 100 minimum order purchase, and I think it's $38 a lead. So it's a little pricier, but you know, you've got a bigger ROI when you do well, so.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that I always look at, and me and Greco talk about this a lot, is we don't want to be married to one lead source, because if one of them, you know, I mean, if it goes to hell, you know, we're screwed. So we're always looking, right? And actually this past week, you know, maybe I'm gonna tell you guys about this. I don't know where John Davis is at. But John Davis and Jason Richter came to my office on Tuesday, and we piloted something with Bang Bang Leads. We piloted a live transfer system. So Jason has this bad to the bone AI system. You know, I want to say something else, but anyway. And it was doing live transfers with the Bang Bang Leads. And I think we got 8 total in about an hour and a half. And one spoke Farsi, so we had to hang up. One spoke Spanish. We tried to give it, Jake Joseph was in the office. We tried to give it to him real quick, and he was telling her to slow down in Spanish, but she wouldn't slow down, so we hung up on her too. So we sold 2 out of 6 and about $3,000 AP in the matter of an hour and a half. And so really interested in that. Talking with Cindy Seal about some things to come, but yeah, I mean, these are primarily the sources that we're using. Now, you can, I think the beneficiary leads for the instant internet leads, where you can get them from LPT, you can get them off the Integrity website. Those are working out pretty well too.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
I've closed a lot of those LPT virtuals.
Yeah. So just trying to give you guys an idea of where to maybe start with leads. You know, that might be a good starting place. One of the things that I've noticed with the virtual side is multiple licenses is a thing in the virtual space. With vertical, for example, you have to have a minimum of 10 licenses. Is there a minimum on Infinity Box?
No, I think I have like 35, but I like to, you know, just try different states until you find a state that you really like talking to people in, you know? Don't be afraid to try.
Josh will be in the chat at like 12:30 at night. 3,000 AP. I'm like, damn, dude.
Hey, there's always somebody awake in Hawaii. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
True.
So let's talk maybe, this was kind of a wide open question. I kind of want to see where you guys go with it. I don't really, yeah. But just, you know, I want to hear maybe like some of the biggest mistakes that you made when you first started out virtual, because there's probably people in this room that are thinking about going virtual. What's some mistakes you made? What's kind of the schedule that you're operating on right now?
Big mistake I think I made was I was immediately trying to sell instead of like solving the problem with them. I was just immediately presenting way too quickly. That was huge for me. My schedules, typically I'm dialing 9 to noon. I'm trying to have my first sale before 12. Like that's a big thing to me. And then I'm doing morning session. My afternoon session is 4 to 8, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Shooting for 5,000 to 7,000 by Wednesday night, and that kind of determines how much I'm dialing Thursday, Friday.
If you're ever in our office and you hear Mike say, "Watch this," I guarantee a sale's coming. I mean, if he's like, it'll be 11 o'clock, and he'll be like, I don't know why he says it all the time. Watch this, and he gets back, he just starts dialing, and then the next thing you know, he's like, all right, your policy will come in the mail. You know, it's cool to watch. What about you, Josh?
A couple of mistakes, I would say being scared of making mistakes. Like you can't know what you need to work on or improve at unless you fail first. So I would say that was a mistake. I thought I needed to do everything perfectly when in reality I needed to make a mess. And then number 2, like Mike said, trying to have everything put together. I think a human conversation is really essential over the phone. So many people are so used to getting a call and it's just so sales official, blah, blah, blah. Like, nobody wants to hear that. They're gonna hang up on you immediately. And so I think just being yourself and being natural, instead of trying to be very professional, I think that will help a lot. And I wish I had done that more at first. And as far as schedule, you gotta, I mean, I work all the time, constantly. But best times to dial would be like 9 to 12, and then 3 to 8, something like that. But you've got to put in the time and just work every day, in my opinion. So.
Some of the mistakes that I made early, and I started selling virtually 2021, 2022, somewhere in there, is I was selling and I was doing really good doing final expense. I started out doing direct mail, and then I transitioned over to a little bit more virtual, and I started to get good at that, and then I jumped into the deep end. Like, this is a mistake that I made, is I found a system and I bought a bunch of like IUL and annuity leads, because I'm like, oh, that's what I want to do. Well, like, yeah, that's what everybody wants to do, okay? But you have to be good to be able to do that. So I cut off all those other leads that I was working, I went all in on this IUL and annuity lead thing, not this one, it was a different one. I'm just telling you guys, like, it stressed me out because I just jumped in the deep end. So I've seen people make that mistake where it's like, oh, I just want to do IULs and annuities. And like, hey, that's great. But if you go jump in the deep end, like, you better be able to swim.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't swim, you know? And luckily, I have a business and I'm not just a producer. So like, I was making a bunch of overrides and it wasn't the end of the world for me, okay? Like, and I figured it out. But that was a huge mistake that I made. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody from doing that, but I did, and it stressed me out.
For me, a big mistake I made early was not enough activity. You just need massive activity, especially early on when your skill level isn't really up to where you need it to be. Just, you know, dialing to dial, instead of dialing to connect with someone and help solve a problem. So massive action was something that I kind of missed in the first few weeks, first couple months. And my schedule is I dial from like 8:30, 9 o'clock until 11, and then 4 till 8 p.m. So
yeah, and I think we kind of identified, well, it's just different tracking virtual. For example, like, it doesn't matter how many dials you have. It does if you're not putting in enough dials, right? You can always trace it back. But it's more about the talk time. Because if you're not on the phone with people, you're not making sales and you're not making money. And so I think we've kind of, I think bare minimum what you should be putting in on the phones is 6 hours a day, right? And sometimes it'll be longer. And then like with Mike, he's focused on, building. And so if he has a great week, sometimes he's at 8 to 10K by Wednesday. He might Thursday and Friday adjust his schedule to more so coach his agents and help them out with sales and stuff like that. But you've got to put in the time on the phone. All right, this is kind of like a two-parter. Well, I'm just kind of combining a couple questions. So rapport building over the phone, how you're building trust, how you're handling objections. It's a little bit different than in the home, right? And
Much
so,
different, yeah.
like the first 30 seconds of the call is very important. So you want to make sure your intro's on, right? Your tonality plays a big factor into it. I know this is stuff you study like crazy, but how would you say you're doing, what's the rapport like? How are you building rapport? How are you getting trust? How are you handling objections?
Yeah, I would say your tone is so huge, it cannot come off rushed. It's gotta be slow, the verbal pacing of it. But also, I'm not building a ton of rapport in the beginning. I am staying neutral. I am on the fence on if I can help them or not. So a lot of my intro is really, I need to ask a couple quick questions, Brandon, to see if, I could even help out with anything today. And it kind of gets them to disarm and kind of spill the beans on like what's really going on, what's the situation look like. I would say something so huge, and I'm still really pinpointing, but the script, the way we have it at least, I am choosing when I get the objections. I am gonna get the budget objection when I want it, when we speak about budget. That's where we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna get at the very beginning of the call, If it's a wife, I need to find out, is your husband part of this decision-making process, or are you kind of the one handling this and making sure this is in place? And then immediately, right before that, she kind of fills me in, okay, now I need to explain who I am and immediately say, hey, go ahead, check your phone real quick. I need you to see I'm licensed and verified to help you today. And I send a small text, my NIPR or my NPN number, the verify me link, and then just a picture of myself. So you're beating them to the objection. I don't know who this is. I'm getting ahead of everything early. I would say those things are big for me.
I'm kind of right there with Mike. It's about trust and rapport building. I think the magic is in you and however you do things. You know, I can't be Jerry Burbage. I can't be Nick Greco. I can't be Julius. I can't be Mike. But I'm me, and so at the beginning of the call, I just try to let myself be myself, you know, and sound like a human being. And that's when I find I have the best success. And that kind of tears down people's walls. And they realize, oh, this is another person on the phone. So the first 10 minutes or so, I really just, if we start talking about anything other than just who they are as a human being, like, hey, do you have children? Hey, what do you do for a living? Where are you from? If anything else happens, I start hearing these red flags in my head because we're getting ahead of ourselves. And so I feel like the first 10 minutes is crucial just to be a human being. And that's where I build my trust, because I'm not trying to get right into bed with them, you know? And I think that helps build rapport when you just get down on a human level and talk to them like a human being, and however you have a conversation with people. And another great way to build your credibility is just be direct to the point. Like, hey, John, I'm gonna go ahead and send you a couple things just so you know who I am. I'm gonna text you over, same stuff Mike mentioned, a business card, a picture of my insurance license, and a link to verify that insurance license. You're gonna see my phone number pop up and my business address, then repeat the business address off to them, and then it's like, I am who I say I am, and then move forward. That works for me.
I think that you need to record yourself when you're virtual, because you might think you sound good, and then you listen to yourself and you realize that you suck, you know? And here's the truth of it is, in person, you can kind of suck, but like you care about them, and like you're sitting on their couch. And if they want life insurance, they're either gonna buy it with you right then and there, or they're gonna get some other person on their couch, okay? When you're virtual, you need to record yourself, and because you need to be good in that first 30 seconds. Because that's where they're deciding, like, am I gonna talk to this person or am I hanging up? Because it's really easy for them to just hit that red button and just, you go away, okay? So you need to be good, and in my mind, I'm like, I want them, like they need to, for them to buy, they need to like you, they need to trust you, and they need to believe that you can help them, okay? Solve whatever problem they're trying to solve, okay? Like you, trust you, and that you can help them.
Yep, just copy and paste for what the guy said. I structure my call in kind of like a business casual setting, and I tell them, you know, at the beginning, they're like, I'm not a regular sales guy. I'm not going to push something on you that doesn't make sense. I'm just going to see if some of this even makes sense for you. If I don't feel that I could solve a problem that you have, I'll tell you. I'll be the first one to tell you. That kind of, you know, brings down the walls a lot. And sending them business cards, taking them. Sometimes I take them to the state website page and take them through my verification. That helps a lot. But just a regular business casual conversation, I control the conversation because I'm looking at a script the whole time. It feels natural just because I kind of personalize the conversation, but it's still very business structured, where they're like, okay, so he's not just kind of yanking my chain, but he still has a human edge. I sent him, like, a business card has me, my wife, and my son. So it still has that family, and that's also huge. I had like a suit, tie on my business card. If you have family, kids, spouse, anything like that, put that on your business card. Take off your suit and tie, because that's very salesy. I had such a better trust and connection with people when I added my wife and my son to my business card, because this is a family business. So that's also helped me a lot.
So just to summarize, I guess, is rapport, what we found, is built throughout the call. When you go in the home, you build rapport first 10, 15 minutes. Over the phone, they're gonna be like, what the hell do you want? You know, like, you gotta get to it. And so it happens throughout, and You're aware of this. You're aware of what's going on in the background. You know, you know if they're in the car. So, because that's going to lead to potentially, like, they get to the e-app portion. Hey, I'm driving, call me back, blah, 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 right? Or in the objections is, you know, the biggest thing with the objections, I think we address a lot of it before it comes, just like we do in the home, right? Right before we get to that point, we are addressing those things throughout our script, right? So I think those things really help us. And we don't get much pushback when it comes to bank account. We don't get much, I mean, social security number. It's not, I mean, I would think the same thing. Like, oh, nobody's gonna give you the bank account. Yes, they do. Like, nobody's gonna give you their social. Yeah, they do. I mean, they just fill it out. But yeah, so, okay. There's something else I wanted to say, but that clock is ticking, so I'm not gonna remember it. All right, so I wanna give these guys an idea too. I know, Mike, you've been working, obviously Greco, you got an organization about doing 400,000, and then you two got some people getting started. So the big question that comes up a lot of times is, how are you balancing your sales and how are you balancing training and coaching? And then even more so, kind of to what Greco mentioned about recording yourself, right? I think that's one of the things that we found to be the most effective training tool. Because, you know, when they go in the house and you get that call after, you know, if they leave the house and then you're like, hey, well, you should say this. And they're like, I did. Well, if you have a recording, you're like, no, you didn't. Here's what you said, you know? So talk to me a little bit about how you're balancing recruiting and training and what you're doing for training and coaching.
For sure. It's definitely a lot, especially because I transitioned from in-home to virtual sales last October. But I would say the best part about virtual training is your live call is the best training for them to hear. So you record these calls and you can narrate them. So how I'm training with my agents, our team, we do Tuesday morning, Thursday morning, 8 to 9. We're reviewing somebody's call. And I'm pausing it. Hey, you missed this part. That's why we got the objection here. I would say the recording of the calls is huge. And then how I'm balancing it, you have to have a goal every week, I think, where you know, okay, if I hit this, I can spend some serious time recruiting, but because until your team's big enough, you have to personally produce.
You want to speak?
I would just, to the conversation of balance, I find that, because I have two people that are actively selling right now, and so I can't speak to this as much as Mike or Nick could. But just balance is, one way I balance is I do the things that I don't want to do at the beginning of my day. And I do those, and then I move on to the other tasks. And that's how I kind of balance things out as far as what I have to do. But I think Nick could probably speak better on this.
I mean, I wanted to get really good at virtual so I can be really, really efficient with my time so I could help my team. Okay, so first of all, let me get really good, and then let me teach my people how to be really good. And I think sometimes when we're working from home and we're virtual, people forget the work part. And, you know, when we're in person, like we'll go do, you know, oh, let me go run appointments with you. Let me, you know, we'll spend a whole day running appointments with our new agent. But then all of a sudden when we're virtual, we're not willing to spend any time with our agents. Like, oh, I'm too busy making, like, no, you get really good so you have extra time that you can go help your people. And I will spend time dialing with new agents, okay? Do I want to dial with my new agents? No. But I'll do it because it's not about me being good, it's about me being able to help other people be good. And just like Hilla just said, it's, you know, your call, like them listening to how you say something, or, you know, you being able to coach them through that kind of stuff. Like, take the same time that you might take with somebody in person, if you're currently working in person, and do the same thing virtually. Like, help them, you know, teach them how to do it. And is it a lot of work up front? Like, yeah, it's a bunch of work up front. It's a bunch of work up front. Like, you gotta be good when you're selling virtually. But you can also be really efficient, and they can be really efficient, and you can sell, you know, $100,000 submitted in a month. Like, God bless America.
Yeah, but similar, I record calls, and we do live dials as well. I'm big on live dials together. That way everyone kind of, it breaks the ice. It's a big boost to the ego, especially if it's your first time, but it's the only way to really catch fire quick is by live dialing, like live on Zoom, and everyone sucks. And you just have to be comfortable with sucking, because That's the only way to get better.
You're gonna suck.
Yeah. All right, so, and I think that kind of comes back to the point of why I would build a community within your team around virtual. If you want to go that way, I ain't pushing you. But I think it's a very scalable option. And I think the community that you build is, I mean, it just helps so much. It's like if Mike's not available for his agent, someone's on there listening, and they're gonna correct, or maybe they're helping, you know, this new agent get through their first app with underwriting or whatever. And there's so many tools and resources that we're trying to create, right? It's like all the documentation for what it looks like on the e-signature from the client's perspective. All these things are things that you gotta start putting time towards. We're basically, you know, you're building a new system around sales, because we haven't had a system to plug into from a virtual standpoint, right? And so, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just, it's on my heart to say,
Look down there real quick.
When it comes to phone sales, like I feel like there's a lot of people out here watching this right now that's looking for a secret ingredient or a magic pill or something like magic beans from Stephen Davies. Just do it. Just get some leads, call your leads, and figure it out. That's the secret ingredient. Just get to work.
Work, baby.
Just work.
Work, work,
Just
work.
work.